Yeah, we are in the place to be.
Welcome to Season 1 of the Nash Potatoes Coffee Show. I've been wanting to reboot this channel for quite a while and have been brainstorming ideas on how to do that. And so I think what I came up with is doing brackets of 8 different coffees, and then they're going to just do head-to-head matchups until we find a champion. So this is the first matchup, and this is Peet's Coffee, Colombia Luminosa versus Tchibo Feine Milde. And I was very curious to see what this looked like on the inside. And what it is, it's 2 vacuum packed packages, which I think is the old school way of doing coffee. So it'll be interesting to see if that makes a difference. So this Peet's Coffee, Colombia Luminosa, the origin is Colombia and Ethiopia. For a 12-ounce package, it goes for about $9.39, depending on where you get it from. And it's a light roast. So I have had that one before, and I typically do like that one, so it'll be interesting to see how that matches up with some of these other ones. This Tchibo Feine Milde, the origin of the coffee beans is Brazil, Central America, and Papua New Guinea. So 17.6 ounces, which is this, goes for $12.99. And they don't really specify the roast, they just consider it a light to medium roast. And this is actually roasted in Germany. So we're going to prepare it with a French press. The way I do it is I typically do 1 tablespoon of coffee grounds to 5 ounces of water. I know some people do it lighter, some people do it stronger. So we're going to do 2 rounds. Round 1 is going to be just black. Round 2, I'm going to add some cream. I'm going to do some scoring along the way. We're going to see who wins. And then in the next video, we will do another matchup. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to prepare this coffee and we'll be right back. All right, as long as this is my first matchup of the season, I might as well go ahead and show you the preparation of the French press. I'm no expert at preparing coffee with a French press by any means, but this is kind of how I do it. Just put the water into your French press, and it can actually go into the microwave, even though it's got metal on it, because it's rounded. It won't spark off. I usually heat it up just until it starts to boil and then pull it out. That gets it, you want it about 200, 190 or 200 degrees. So if you get it just as it starts boiling, pull it out, let it cool off for just a second. So I've got 10 ounces of water in here, 10 ounces of water in here. And so I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of coffee for each one. I've got a coffee tool here that's 1 tablespoon on this end, 2 tablespoons on this end. So I'll just go ahead and do a level 2 tablespoons. And then for the Feine Milde, this is the vacuum packed one. I think I'm going to dump this into a container here. This appears to be a little bit of a finer grind, which isn't really ideal for a French press, but we'll go ahead and give it a go. All right, and then it's best to take like the handle of a wooden spoon, just give it a stir, and we're going to let it steep for about 4 minutes. All right, I'll go ahead and pause this video while that's steeping, and I'll be right back. All right, we just have about another minute and a half on the steeping. I wanted to show you something really quick that came to mind. A lot of people make this mistake when they'll just leave their coffee sitting on the counter like this, or they just tie it off at the top. The proper way to seal your coffee is to get all the air out of it. So I'll show you how I do that once the coffee gets towards the end here. Is I just press all the air out and roll the top down. And what I actually do is just take it and fold it over, get all the air out of there, and put a rubber band around it. That'll keep your coffee beans fresh. And don't store them in the fridge or the freezer. I'll actually put some on-screen tips on how to get the best tasting coffee. My video just before this was reasons why our coffee doesn't seem to taste good anymore. So if you need any help with that, go ahead and check that video out. But I'm going to go ahead and press these and start doing some tasting. So this one over here is the Peet's coffee. Just press the grounds down. And on the Tchibo Feine Milde. And then you want to go ahead and serve it right away so it's not sitting in the coffee grounds any longer. I mentioned that the Feine Milde is a little bit of a finer grind. With a French press, you typically want to do a coarse grind. I tend to do just a standard auto drip grind, and it seems to work fine for me. But everybody has their preferences, whatever tastes better for you. And then just keep this tipped over for 30 seconds or so until you can see that all the coffee has poured through. So that's our Tchibo Feine Milde over there. And this one is our Peet's Colombia Luminosa. The nice thing about a French press is the coffee grounds aren't going through a paper filter. That paper filter pulls all the coffee oils out, and the coffee oils are a lot tends to be where the texture and the taste is at. So you should really try a French press. You can get them at Target for about 20 bucks. And the reason that I'm tasting them black and then with half and half is because I did a coffee tasting with my parents a year ago, and what we realized is that some coffees may not taste that good black, but they actually tasted great with half and half. So here we go. I'm gonna just kind of score each one on a scale of 0 to 100. I did some research online, and the best way to cleanse your palate is just with a cup of water. So I think I'm going to taste each one first and then actually score them after that. So, and I'm no super taster by any means. I did own a coffee shop for about 4 years, so I love coffee, but I just have a normal palate. I think 50% of the population is considered a normal taster, and that's what I would definitely consider myself. So here we go, the Tchibo Feine Milde. This one, as I mentioned, is Brazilian, Central American, and Papua New Guinea. That one has tons of flavors in it. I can't really pinpoint what the flavors are, which is actually the reason that you want to do coffee tastings, is because when you go back and forth, you can pinpoint this coffee has this coffee doesn't have this, or vice versa. And you can start to pinpoint what flavors you like, don't like, what regions you like or don't like, what types of roast do you like or not like. I have been leaning towards the light roasts lately. So here's the Peet's coffee, Colombia Luminosa. This one's a light roast from Colombia and Ethiopia. Yeah, that one's delicious as well. So the way that I kind of score my coffees, I'm really just looking for drinkability. I've had some coffees where they claim to be a medium roast, and then you open up the bag and it's so dark, and I don't really care for dark roast coffees. Some of them are good, and I can drink them down normally, but for me, drinkability is everything. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Obviously looking for a decent price, something that smells good, something that gets me excited to get out of bed in the morning. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and score these and see where we end up on round one of this coffee tasting. This one's the Tchibo Feine Milde, roasted in Germany. If you've ever scored coffee, the way they kind of do it in the coffee world is, I believe it's 0 to 100. Anything over an 80 is considered specialty coffee. And but those are really super tasters that are doing that. Wine connoisseurs, coffee tasters, chefs, that kind of stuff. What I'm really my goal here today is just to say, like, look, I like this one better than this one, or I like this one better than this one. And we'll do that for all 8 teams, and then we'll do another round of matchups. And then I think at that point we'll be in the championship or semifinals. And then so at that point we're just kind of looking at which coffees matches up better along the way. So I really like this Tchibo Feine Milde. I think I'll score that right at about a 90. This one's the Peet's Colombia Luminosa. So it's my understanding that because coffee is like 97% water, you don't necessarily even have to cleanse your palate between tastes. I read some stuff online where some people use crackers, some people use water, some people use seltzer water. So if I forget to cleanse my palate, it's not that big a deal. I like that Peet's. I'm going to give that one an 85. And then I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while I add maybe a tablespoon or maybe an ounce or 2 of cream. And then we'll taste it again, and then we will declare a winner. So don't go anywhere. All right, I'm back for the second half of this coffee tasting. Before I forget something, as you can see on my brackets, I ranked every team, seeded them from 1 through 8. And the way I seeded them is the first place one, which actually is the Tchibo Feine Milde. The reason I seeded them first place is because they have 52 reviews on Amazon, and all of them are positive. Literally have 100% positive reviews. So they were seeded number 1. And seeded number 8 was Peet's Coffee. This one over here. They actually, only 81% of their Amazon reviews were positive. So I kind of took into account different things. So as you know, I did about 10 ounces of water with each French press. I added about 1.5 ounces of cream to each one. So we're going to do another tasting. This is the second half, and then Tchibo won the first half. Peet's Coffee took second place with an 85. They scored a 90. So let's give this a shot and see where we end up. See, the interesting thing about adding half and half is I'm actually tasting different flavors in this one. And like I said, I'm not a super taster, so I can't pinpoint what they are. But when I drink coffee, that's what I'm looking for is, you know, kind of an aftertaste, a pleasing aftertaste. For me, that's what makes coffee drinkable. I'm going to give this one a shot here, and then I'll go back and then give them a score. See, that one's delicious as well with half and half. Something about maybe the fat in the half and half that brings out different flavors. I'm not really sure what it is, but let me go ahead and cleanse my palate and we'll declare a winner here. All right, the Tchibo Feine Milde. So this is what I love about coffee tasting is you can compare and contrast. So I'm comparing this versus this. I'm comparing the black versus the ones with half and half. I actually like this better with half and half in it. I scored it a 90 as a black coffee, and with the half and half, I think I'm going to score a 93. So the Tchibo scored a 90 in the first half and a 93 in the second half. Let's give this Peet's a shot here. They scored an 85 in the first half. So for some reason, adding half and half increases the flavor with the Peet's as well. I think what I'm going to give that with the half and half is an 88. All right, let me run the total on this and clean up my desk here a little bit, and we'll be back to declare a winner. All right. It is time to decide which of these two coffees tastes better. And the Tchibo scored a 90 in the first half. a 93 in the second half for a total of 183. And that's the Tchibo Feine Milde. And the Peet's Coffee Colombia Luminosa. They scored an 85 in the first half and 88 in the second half for a total of 173. So these scores won't matter going forward, but in this round, we have declared the Tchibo Feine Milde as a winner. The goal of this coffee show is just to basically introduce you to new coffees. There are lots of places online you can get reviews. Coffeereview.com is a big one, and they have reviewed a lot of coffees. But some of those coffees go for $50 a pound or $30 a pound. The goal of this show is to get you interested and introduce you to some coffees that taste great and, like I said, are very drinkable. Number 2, are reasonably priced, and number 3, are readily available. Some of these coffees are available at your local supermarket. The rest of them are available for sure on Amazon.com, which is where I got a lot of these. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is round 1, and like I said, we're doing 8 coffees all together. Definitely not going to do them today, but in future videos. So between Tchibo Feine Milde and the Peet's Colombia Luminosa, we have determined a winner of the Tchibo Feine Milde. We'll see you next time.